Alright, so today I want to show you the results of one of my eggs that had hatched. As a matter of fact, I actually did a video on that one. That was my moldy boob egg that actually hatched, and we actually cut it open. I looked inside and we saw an all-white snake, and a lot of people are saying, hey, that snake actually looks dead because, you know, it looks like maybe it was underdeveloped and it wasn't moving and it was completely white. And I thought maybe it was a spider pied because the female was possible het pied, and then the male was actually an albino pied visual. So I was thinking that maybe it was actually a spider pied because it was completely white. And as a matter of fact, the other possibility in that, there was also pastel and yellow belly. So ideally we could get a pastel yellow belly spider pied if we actually hit all the genes and all the possible genes. And we kind of popped it open and looked at it, and I wasn't sure if it was alive or dead or kind of what was going on with it. As a matter of fact, a couple days later I looked in there and I kind of opened it up and it wasn't really moving, and it kind of started smelling bad. And today I wanted to show you the results of that hatchling. I want to go into that egg box and pull that hatchling out and kind of see if it's alive or dead or kind of what's going on with that hatchling. But first what I want to do is I want to show you the parents, the male and the female, so you can kind of get an idea of the genes that went into this breeding. Alright, so I keep both the male and the female over here in my ARS 5040 rack. And this is the male right here. This is actually an albino pied male from 2016. It's actually 4 years old already. His name is Skipper. We actually just picked out a name for a lot of these snakes just recently. And take a look at this beauty. this is a really awesome albino pied. As a matter of fact, he's produced another visual albino pied. I bred him to an albino 100% het pied. And kind of the tricky part about a double recessive is if I actually bred this guy to like a normal, I would get all normal looking offspring, and I'd have to actually breed back the normals to either a visual or another het to actually get an albino pied. So it's a little bit tricky to actually work with. As a matter of fact, I just bred this to my clown and got triple recessive albino pied clowns, and they pretty much look like normal ball pythons. Really powerful breeders, but not really that impressive. So as a matter of fact, actually, you know, I actually bred this one to the other one. I didn't, you know, it was definitely not het for albino that I knew of, and it was possible het pied. So I was thinking, you know, it's 100% het pied, 100% het albino, unless it actually carried a copy of the pied gene, and then we could get a visual, which I thought was a real long shot on that anyways. And I actually, when I cut that egg open, I got a white snake, and I thought, hey, we got a pied, and I was pretty excited because I thought it was a visual pied. So here is the female. The female is a bumblebee named Chomper, and let me tell you, Chomper is it's a good name for Chomper because she always tries to bite me every time. She is a crazy ball python. I don't know what's gotten into her. As a matter of fact, ever since she laid eggs, she really hasn't eaten anything. I think what I really need to do is take her out and give her a bath. And take a look at Chomper here. She's still pretty super skinny, and she has really bright green eyes. Look at that. She's coming around for a bite. She's I don't know what's gotten into Chomper. She is kind of a crazy snake. She's kind of in a really weird position, a really weird mood. For some reason, I actually got her through the mail, and I think she kind of got beat up in the mail, and then I took her out after she got beat up and then put her in a glass enclosure, and it seemed like she associated me with the trauma of the shipping in that glass enclosure. And look at that, she's like coming around, and if I actually stood here long enough, she would actually take a bite at me. I've actually got the camera too close once, and she actually bit the lens. She is a crazy snake. So this was the female, and kind of the weird thing with this is she was like, right, whoa, yeah, that is Chomper right there. That is a crazy snake. As a matter of fact, I tried to tame her down once, and I just took a whole bunch of bites, and I just gave up on trying to tame this crazy snake down. I don't know what's gotten into Chomper, but kind of the weird thing is I bred her right at 1,500 grams, and I didn't think she was gonna go because she was like right on the edge, and then she laid, she kind of surprised me. I was just spot checking one day, and I came in here and found a whole clutch of slugs with one big boob egg that was really kind of misshapen. And then I put that egg in the incubator, and it got really moldy. I thought, that egg is not going to hatch. It looks really super bad. So that is kind of the story of Skipper and Chomper and the one egg that I got in my incubator. This girl, I don't know what's gotten into her. She's just a crazy snake. Alright, so here we go. This is the moment of truth. And I have to warn you, I show live snakes, I show dead snakes, I show everything, raw video on my YouTube. And you know, a lot of people, they'll cut out all the bad stuff and only keep in the good stuff. And I pretty much show everything. So here we go. Here is the moment of truth. Is it alive or is it dead? Let's take a look and see if this is alive or dead, or what we got from this moldy boob egg. Take a look at this. This is pretty amazing. As a matter of fact, take a look at this. This is actually a really super small hatchling. Take a look at that. That is a crazy looking snake right there. Essentially what that is that is a spider pied, and you see how yellow the head is? That is pastel in the mix. So this is a pastel spider pied, which is really crazy. And I was actually wondering if it had yellow belly in it too, because that female is possible yellow belly. And I was actually looking over on Morphmarket. There were similar ones that were possible. Everyone was listing them as possible yellow belly, and nobody really knew one way or the other from their pastel spider pieds. And kind of the weird thing about this is this one is still kind of in the egg, hasn't come out yet, and it has like this big blob right in the egg. As a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna see if I can take this out. Hopefully there's not a problem with the umbilical cord on this one, but this guy is way overdue to come out of the egg. And this guy still looks like he's still attached to the umbilical cord. As a matter of fact, I might just put him in there and let him kind of absorb that a little bit more. Maybe it's kind of weird because his hatch date was like quite a while ago, and it seems like, you know, he's not really completely absorbed all the yolk in there. It's like one big huge thing still attached to his belly. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave him right there attached to that big kind of a yolk sac there. It's a couple days after his due date, but it looks like he's still doing good, still attached by the umbilical cord. So instead of cutting it, I think I'm just going to let him cook for a little bit longer right in the egg box. That is pretty amazing. Alright, so there you have it. That is pretty amazing that we actually hit all the genes in that combination. One egg out of all those slugs. I can't remember how many slugs that were in that clutch, but I think it was like 4 or 5 slugs and then just that one boob egg. And it's pretty amazing. Even the possible genes, the possible het pied, actually came out, and we proved that that female was het pied, which is pretty awesome. And kind of the problem with that snake is that, number one, it actually had that mass in there, and it has the umbilical cord kind of attached to the mass, which is kind of a new thing for me. I've actually seen in a few of my snakes, I've probably hatched out maybe 200, 300 snakes over the last few years, and every now and then I'll actually see that big mass kind of left over in the egg, which I don't know where that comes from. Usually you don't really have that big of a mass left over in the egg, and in this case it actually had the umbilical cord attached, which is kind of a new problem. And I'm thinking I could probably just let it, hopefully it'll actually detach on its own. Hopefully I actually don't have to go in there and do anything to kind of remove it from the umbilical cord, which is always kind of interesting to try to go in and like perform surgery on a snake or something like that. And kind of the other concerning thing about that hatchling is that it's a little bit smaller than usual, almost half the size. And believe it or not, I've actually had a couple albinos. I think I had 3 albinos that were exactly the same way, where they had a big mass left over in the egg, and they were super skinny, super like almost a third the size of a regular hatchling. And usually all the time with those really super small hatchlings, you actually have to assist feed them the first few meals to actually get them going before they'll actually pick up and take off. So that could be a little bit problematic. Hopefully it looks like he's doing pretty good. Awake and alert. It seems like he's doing pretty good. Hopefully we can actually get him out of this initial transition over into the hatchling rack, maybe here in the next few days. So that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.